All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Nia Kiraton. I am the person behind Mental Block, which this platform is for athletes to come on and talk about mental health while they're either playing sports or how it has affected them outside of it. This series is going to bring awareness to athletes' mental health. So today with me, I have KK Deans. So I'm very excited to have her joining me today. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, I'll let you do that.
Hi everybody, I'm KK Deans. As you said, I currently to go to the University of Florida. A graduate from University of West Virginia, and I decided to transfer here for my senior year.
Awesome. All right. So, how long have you been an athlete? Can you kind of give us a rundown on your athletic background?
Yeah, so I've been playing basketball since I was probably about 5 years old, and I just stuck with it. AAU came around. I was playing AAU year round, summer, fall. Went to private high school. Went to high school online so I could play basketball fully committed. Um, a traveling type of basketball for high school, and ended up getting a scholarship, multiple scholarships, but I chose to go to West Virginia because it was the best fit at the time.
Awesome. How many scholarships do you know how many you got?
Uh, no, I don't know the specific number.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what is your definition of mental health?
My definition of mental health is basically self-care. The mind is very powerful, and when it's put under a lot of stress, it's putting on a lot of um, just overwhelming. So it tends to shut down sometimes. So when you don't take enough care of it, it gets to be a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that being said, why do you think athletes' mental health is overlooked?
um because there's such a pedestal about it, like you got to be tough, you got to come in ready to work. Uh People overlook it because they put this bullet on your back, like, oh, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen, if you don't do this, then that's going to happen. So I really am big on mental health. I've seen it impact like teammates. I've seen it impact myself. So I just it's just really a big thing.
Yeah. So, with that, you did say that it has impacted your mental health. So, how has basketball impacted your mental health, if at all, like positively or negatively?
Yes. So most of my life I've been playing basketball, like I said. So it used to be therapy. Basketball used to be my therapy. It's my safe place. When everything went wrong in life, I turned to basketball. Um, and it just got to be repetitive. Like it was always there. So January 29th, 2022, I tore my ACL, and that kind of affected me mentally, just not having that piece to turn to, learning how to rewalk, not being able to walk for about 6 weeks. And just getting back to the game, getting back to how I was, getting back to the player I was, um, is kind of take a toll on you mentally because you have to think, um, you have to get back there, and there's steps to take through that process, and it's a process, and it takes patience. No matter how much I want to just go out there and run or just get up and do something, I literally can't because my body won't allow it. So just working on patience has really been my goal throughout this whole journey and process of recovery from the ACL. So that's kind of how it took a toll on me mentally.
Were you still at West Virginia when you tore your ACL?
Yes. So my biggest fear was not being able to walk across that stage after when I graduated, but I was able to walk across stage, and they took great care of me while I was recovering and getting me to that point. Um, and yeah, I had surgery there. Started my rehab. So yeah, I was out there.
So with your injury, how has that impacted you now that you are, at a whole different school, getting back into the swing of good things? You just told me before we started that you were in the middle of workout. So how has that impacted you at all? Are you having a little bit of a mental block with playing basketball, or how is that for you?
Basketball is just now starting to feel like it was again. I'm starting to get back in the swing of things. Of course, like running, I'm not as fast as I was, but I'm still getting back to the speed, still getting back stronger. So like if I do a drill, maybe I made the time in probably like 18, 19 seconds, I'm probably at like 22. So I'm probably like 70%. And so sometimes that it really dawns on me like, dang, I'm really not that right now. I'm really not there. So like that kind of frustrates me sometimes. But I have great teammates, great coaches, and they really helped me through it.
Mhm.
And I started therapy not too long ago. And I just go in there and talking to my therapist and just talking through situations. You don't really know um, what's bothering you until you talk about it. And to talk about it to a stranger, because you're just telling them about your life and you get lost in just telling them about your life, that you just are such a relief off your shoulders once it's out. So yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, like what kind of advice would you give future athletes that have been injured or trying to recover from injury?
My advice would be take it day by day. Um, because if you look too far in the future, it's gonna take a toll on your mental health. Um, don't think about it how it was. Think about how I'm going to be.
Mhm.
Think about who's the new. You're building a new person, a new version of yourself. Um, so that's kind of the mindset you gotta have when you're dealing with injury, because it's just like adversity in life. It's not always gonna go as planned. I didn't plan that tear my ACL. I thought I was never going to, but it happened. So I had to change my mindset, change how I looked at it. Why, of course I'm gonna question why it happened, why I did this. But once I stopped questioning it and realized why not me, why not make us another story for myself, and why not, be that new person that just story is great, story is amazing, and encourage other people down the line that has done it. Um, so I'm not the first and I'm not gonna be the last, but I know you can give advice to make their time a little smoother.
Right, right. And that was good. So with that, you did say that you have great teammates, you do have great coaches. Is there an environment or has there been an environment created for you to be able to talk about your emotions safely? Like not just about the game, but like, anything in life. Has that environment been created for you?
100%. My coaches here are so big on just like they ask you, how are you doing today? How does your body feel? What is your mind like? And I think that's very important in this type of atmosphere, because it does get repetitive and it does get, tiring, and it's like a job, you have so many responsibilities, and nobody takes the time to see how you are or check up on you, you feel like you're doing it by yourself. So I think they do a great job of that. Um, at West Virginia, I think sometimes they lack that, but it's not like they didn't care, but they just lack just asking that simple question, "How are you?" Um, goes a long way, and I think they do a great job here, and my coaches and my teammates. It's a great environment to be around. Yeah.
Yeah, I think some schools are just now starting to kind of really tap into like the mental health aspect. I think a lot of times coaches were athletes, right? So they already have that mentality. They probably didn't have people checking in on them. So like a lot of times they take the way that they were coached and kind of translate that into their coaching. So I think, a lot of times it just depends on exactly what that coach's environment was like. But I'm glad that where you're at is able to create that space for you. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
good. So with that being said, what is something that you feel like is needed for athletes' mental health now? Considering, like you said, where you're at now, they do take care of you, but like, a lot of athletes don't even have that. So what do you think is needed for athletes' mental health?
I'm actually thinking about starting this up soon, but it's basically called Actions Speak Louder Than Words. And it's encouraging each system, each athletic sport. So like um, when I was in West Virginia, we had 3 sports psychologists in the whole athletic department.
Mhm.
So I don't feel like 3 sports psychologists can tend to all those players, all those things. So I feel like each sport should have a sports psychologist, and that can break down each person, get to know each person personally, and just talk to the problems. Like they don't have to go, but just be there, and sometimes even just having a startup, just make them go one time, not telling them to go, like, you have to keep going, but just go one time, see how you feel, and just spread that across the whole entire um basketball world or football world,
Mhm.
volleyball. Every sport should have a sports psychologist assigned to them. And that just because a lot of times people talk about mental health, but nothing really gets done. They're just like, oh, well, we have them. They're here for you. But no, I need somebody that's there, like, oh, listen, on Thursday, it fits in your schedule. Go there, just see how it is. They like it, they keep going. If they don't, then that's just not them. Because if there is a time that they feel like they need to talk to somebody and they can't talk to their friends, they can't talk to their parents, they'll be there. So I think that's what a sports psychologist should be assigned to every sports team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I also think there needs to be sports psychologists that are there after business hours. Because y'all schedule is so crazy. Y'all don't always get to hit that 8 to 5, like, regular
Yeah.
students get to do. So I do think there is definitely a lack across a lot of colleges and universities with that. So I do think you are onto something. I think to take that and continue with it, and then also take those after hours into consideration, whether that's a crisis line, a hotline, telehealth, something where there can be sports psychologists readily available for those after hours, because you guys do have different hours than regular students. So yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Mhm.
So last question. So what is one piece of advice that you want to leave for those that are currently playing sports in college?
Um, Keep growing, keep being with the will to grow, the will to be a better version of yourself. Always looking to expand your game, no matter what. And try not to get comfortable. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think that's the best saying. If you ever get comfortable, that means you're settling.
Mhm.
So be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Awesome. Well, everybody, that was KK for us today. I definitely appreciate you sitting on this platform and just give us a little spill. So yeah, thank you for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem.